Why people secretly hate you, even if you did nothing wrong. Have you ever felt like someone dislikes you for no reason? You didn't betray them. You didn't disrespect them. You didn't compete with them. Yet they act distant, cold, almost threatened. If you've searched things like, why do people hate me? Why are people jealous of me? Or, why do people turn against me when I succeed? This video will answer that. Because sometimes, people don't hate you for what you did. They hate you for what you represent. In the next few minutes, I'll break down the real psychology behind secret hate, jealousy, and silent resentment. And by the end, you'll know exactly why it's happening and why it's not your fault. 1. You make your own decisions. Most people don't really live. They negotiate their existence. They measure every move. They read the room. They wait for approval before they breathe. Should I take this job? Should I stay in this relationship? Is this okay? Do you think this is a good idea? They need permission to move forward. You don't. You decide. You move. You don't over-explain. You don't ask the room who you're allowed to be. And that makes people uncomfortable. Why? Because when you live without approval, you remind them they've been living under someone else's control for years. You show them what self-trust looks like. And self-trust is threatening to people who abandoned their own voice. Your independence forces them to confront their dependence. Your freedom exposes their prison. And nobody likes having a mirror held up to their face, especially when that mirror reflects hesitation, fear, and compromise. Sometimes it was never about you. It was about the gap between who they are and who they could have been. Freedom is beautiful, but it is unbearable to those who chose the cage. 2. You grew. They didn't. A year ago, you were equal. Same level, same complaints. Same late nights talking about what you should do. Same limitations dressed up as circumstances. Then something shifted. You started waking up earlier. You trained your mind instead of scrolling. You worked on your body instead of complaining about it. You set boundaries where you used to stay silent. Now you're different, quieter, sharper, more disciplined. And growth is a mirror no one asks for. Because when you rise, you unintentionally measure everyone around you. If this part resonates, comment. Growth is lonely. Because it is. Your progress silently exposes their excuses. You didn't abandon them. You evolved. And evolution makes stagnation feel like failure. Not because you said anything. Not because you judged them, but because your actions removed their hiding place. Instead of rising with you, some people prefer pulling you back down. They joke about your discipline. They question your ambition. They remind you of who you used to be. Not because they hate you, but because you remind them they had the same chance. And they settled. Growth is inspiring only to those who are willing to grow. To everyone else, it feels like betrayal. 3. You stopped performing. Most people are actors. They laugh at jokes they don't find funny. They agree with ideas they don't believe in. They pretend interest to stay included. You stopped doing that. You don't fake reactions. You don't force smiles. You don't nod just to keep peace. You're real. And real people disrupt fake environments. When you refuse to perform, you break the script. And breaking the script makes everyone else aware that they are acting. Honesty feels aggressive in rooms built on pretending. So they label you. Too serious. Too blunt. Too different. But what they really mean is, you make me uncomfortable with my mask. Because for the first time, they realize their whole life has been a performance. And you? You're not playing the game. You don't need to. And they don't like that. 4. You don't chase attention anymore. You stopped texting first. You stopped seeking validation. You stopped being available 24/7. And suddenly, people panic. Because some individuals only feel powerful when you revolve around them. When you give them your energy, your time, your attention. And when you withdraw that energy, control disappears. Humans dislike what they cannot control. It makes them uncomfortable. It makes them feel vulnerable. So they test you. They ignore you. They create drama. They stir up conflicts just to see if you'll chase them back. But you stay calm. You focus. You're present, but not needy. And your calm feels like rejection to those who once relied on your neediness. Your stability is their insecurity. You didn't change. You just stopped overextending. You stopped giving without boundaries. You stopped letting your energy be drained. And for the first time, they realized that their world revolved around you because you let it. But you don't let it anymore. 5. You are genuinely at peace. And this one is the hardest. Some people are used to chaos. They wake up stressed. They sleep frustrated. They've normalized misery. It's become their comfort zone. They don't know what real peace feels like. Because peace requires surrender, it requires stillness. And they've been running so long, they've forgotten how to stop. Then you show up, steady, not loud, not dramatic, just stable. And your peace confronts their chaos. Because if happiness is possible, then suffering is not destiny. And that realization stings. You are the proof that healing is a choice. So instead of looking inward, they project outward. They call you fake, they call you selfish, they call you too much. But calm is not arrogance. Healing is not weakness. Your light is not an attack. Your peace is not something to be feared. It is a mirror. And some people would rather attack the mirror than face their own reflection. Because your stability forces them to confront the fact that they've chosen chaos over peace. And that's the hardest truth to accept. If everyone likes you, you are probably harmless. When you set boundaries, someone will call you selfish. When you grow, someone will say you changed. When you speak honestly, someone will call you rude. None of that means you're wrong. It means you stopped shrinking. Free people are disturbing because they prove the cage was never locked. You don't need everyone to understand you. You need alignment. Some people belong to earlier chapters, not the final pages. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. The right ones will recognize you without explanation. And if this helped you see clearly, share it with someone who's been apologizing for being themselves. Next video, we talk about how to set boundaries without explaining yourself. Stay sharp, stay calm, stay free.